Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and in today's video we are going to do a super fun neon and chrome set of nails. Now whenever I want to do something fun and just really artsy, I either reach for my chromes or I reach for the neons. So I thought today, especially seeing as it's nice and summery, we would pop those two things together. Now starting off, I'm going to come in and I'm going to use a true nude for my base. Of course, if you was working on yourself or a client, you would do all of your prep and base coat first of all, but because we're working on display tips, I'm going to come straight in with my color coat and do 2 coats of this. So on this first now, we're actually going to start off with a full chrome nail. Now underneath your chrome, you can use either a light shade or a dark shade. A lot of time underneath a mirror chrome people will put a black, but I wanted to give this more of a light look, so that's why I went for a nice light base. So we have the beautiful True Nude. Now True Nude is also part of the Henna Free range as well. Now before we apply our chrome to this color, you need to apply a no wipe top coat. You can use any of the Kiki London top coats as long as it is a glossy top coat and it is no wipe. So you could use either this no wipe top coat or you could use the no wipe rubber top coat or the new crystal top coat. So you just want to apply a thin even coat of this to the entire nail, and then we're going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. When this comes out, it's going to have that no wipe finish and you're going to be able to burnish your chrome into that. So for my chrome, I'm going to be using the gold mirror chrome. This one is super pretty, and to apply my chromes I always use the Kiki London Silicone Tool. The chromes do come with a little brush, so if you don't have one of the silicone tools, don't stress, you can use the little brush that comes in the package, but I do find that I get a much better application with the silicone tool. So I'm going to start by really rubbing that chrome over the entire nail. So I start off just by coming straight down the nail, and then I'll come back in a circular motion and really burnish that in, making sure I'm coming along the tips of the edge and the edge of the nail, just to make sure everything is fully covered. Now at this point, it does look as though you've got that excess powder, so you want to get rid of any of that excess chrome that isn't needed. So we're going to brush that away with the Kiki London dust brush, and as you can see, this looks super soft now. Now what I want to do is I'm going to come in and seal this in with another coat of the no wipe top coat. Now you could of course leave this nail like this and that would be a full chrome nail finished, but I want to come in and add some neon nail art over the top of this. So we're going to pop this layer of top coat in to cure for 30 seconds, and then once that has cured, you can see it looks even more shiny and beautiful. Because we're going to be doing a little bit of hand painting over the top, I'm going to very gently buff the surface of the top coat. So I'm taking the 180 grit side of the buffer and I'm really gently just going over the nail. I don't want to go backwards and forwards too much because I don't want to start removing any of that top coat, because then you're going to risk buffing into the chrome and removing the chrome. We're just simply doing this because I find if I hand paint over a matte surface, what ends up happening is the gel polish goes on a lot easier and you don't get any bleeding. So we're going to wipe away any of that excess dust that has come around from buffing, and then we're going to take the gorgeous Raving Doll. Now this particular neon pink has a bit of a jelly effect to it, so I really love this one over chrome. Now to apply this, I'm going to take the Kiki London stripe liner brush. I'm going to load up my brush and kind of really work it through the bristles of that brush. I wiped off a little bit of the excess just because I wanted to make sure the brush was fully loaded, but I didn't want to have too much on my brush. And then I'm going to start drawing on just a really simple, funky pattern. So I did have a quick look around on Pinterest for some abstract patterns and things like that, just so I had something in mind, because sometimes I think if you go into a nail art design not 100% sure knowing what you want to do, then it can be a little bit harder. Now I didn't quite like how the first line went, so I wiped it off with a little bit of alcohol and then come in and start it again. And this is why you need to have that layer of top coat over your chrome, so that if you make any mistakes you can wipe it off. If we hadn't had that layer of top coat protecting the chrome, what would have happened when we wiped off our mistake? It would have wiped off all of the chrome. So I'm just going to continue following that kind of curvy line that we placed down first of all, and like I said, where this is a jelly neon pink, you can kind of see it affects the color and gives off, you can kind of still see some of that gold gold chrome effect coming through the gel polish, which I absolutely love. So as we get toward the edge of the nails, I changed up the pattern a little bit and was doing it as though it was coming from the opposite direction. And then that is the nail art finished, and it was super easy, but I think it really looks fun for a neon chrome summer look. So we're going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds, and I quite liked how it gives that layered textured look to it as well. We do need to seal in our nail art, so I'm going to come in with the No Wipe rubber top coat. Now the No Wipe rubber top coat is my go-to for sealing in any kind of nail art or chrome, water decals, foils, hand painting, whatever it is. I love to encapsulate it in the No Wipe rubber top coat because it's slightly thicker. I feel as though it minimizes any chipping that you can sometimes get. Nail art can be a little bit finicky, so by applying a layer of that No Wipe rubber top coat, you're sealing everything in beautifully. So as you can see, I floated that on, then held it upside down for a few seconds just to help it self level, and then we popped it in for a 60-second cure, and that was the finished result. On to the second design, I've already done my 2 coats of True Nude. And then we're going to start off by applying some more neons. So I've already got Raving Doll down on my palette, and then I'm going to come in with me Lava, and then for our yellow I've gone for Glow Stick. Now there are quite a few neons, brights and pastel neons to choose from on the Kiki London website, so you don't necessarily have to recreate this design with the same colours I've used. It would look beautiful with any brights you choose. Even if you went for a bright that wasn't necessarily a neon shade, I find they will still work beautifully with a gold chrome. So on this particular design, I'm taking my striped liner brush and I'm going to kind of just cut out 3 swoops with each of these colours. So we started off with the Raving Doll, and I love how pigmented these are, that you can do nail art with them and only need the 1 coat, especially when you're going over a nice light base like True Nude. If you don't want to do this over a nude base, you can also do this design over a white base as well. I find the nude base kind of just tones it down a little bit, because obviously there's a lot going on in the design, and white can be quite bright and harsh. So by having a nice creamy nude base, you've still got a neutral plain base, so your nail art's still going to pop, but the base isn't going to be too in your face. So what I did was I did the Raving Doll, and then I flash cured that, cleaned off my brush with some alcohol, and then went in with my lava. Then done the exact same again, flash cured for 10 seconds. It's going to freeze that colour in place, so you're not going to have to worry about smudging it when you're doing your next section. And then whilst that's flash curing, I'm just going to give my brush a quick clean on an alcohol pad so that we're not going to muddy up our next colour. Once I had done all 3 colours, I popped this in to cure for 30 seconds so that we could ensure all of that gel polish was fully cured. Now on this, we're going to do a little bit of isolated chrome, and that works best on a matte surface. So I'm going to come over the top and apply a thin coat of the Kiki London No Wipe matte top coat. Now if you're wanting to recreate this design but you don't have a matte top coat, I would recommend going in with a layer of the No Wipe rubber top coat and then buffing it so that you've got that matte surface. If you have got a matte top coat, then just come in with that and you kind of skip having to do that buffing step. I do still like to come in though and give the nail a very quick buff just to make sure that everything is super matte, and this way you're going to minimize the amount of chrome that sticks to the nails where you don't want it to stick. So just giving it a very gentle buff. Like before, you don't want to be removing any of the top coat, you just want to be making sure that you've got a super matte nail. Clean away any of that dust, and then we're going to jump back to that No Wipe top coat. This time I'm going to pop a little bit of that No Wipe top coat on my palette, take my strap liner brush and just draw out some areas where I want to have the gold chrome kind of like splashes. So I'm going to come right across the pink, kind of following the swoosh that we've already got, so it kind of just puts a nice gold line between our True Nude and then our Raving Doll. But then on the orange, we're just going to go half and half on one side because I wanted to keep with that whole funky abstract look. And then I believe on the yellow I just come over half as well because I didn't want to cover up too much of the yellow. And then I do go back into that pink zone and pop just a little curve up in the corner just so we can add on another splash of gold. And I really loved how funky this turned out. So we're going to pop that top coat in to cure for 30 seconds, and then we're going to take our silicone tool and our gold chrome and just rub it predominantly over the areas where we've applied our No Wipe top coat, so you don't have to come in and rub it over the entire nail. Now as you can see, you are going to still get a bit of top coat that's applying to where you don't want it to go, but I will show you guys how I get rid of that. So starting off, I'm just giving this a really good rub in, making sure that it's covering all of that no wipe top coat that we've applied, getting right around the sides and things like that. And then when that's done, we're going to move away our chrome, because the last thing you want to do is knock that over. We're going to take the dust brush and gently rub away a lot of that excess. Now, it's really important you do this step with a soft brush. So the Kiki London dust brush is really good for this. You haven't top coated that chrome yet. So if you use a too harsh or too bristly brush, you'll start pulling that chrome off. So I like to go over with the dust brush, remove a lot of that excess, and then I will take the angled nail art brush. And this particular one, I only use this one for cleanup. So I have two angled nail art brushes. One I use for painting and my gel polish, and then one I use for cleanup, because when you're constantly using the same brush with acetone, it can end up making the bristles fray a little bit. So it's nice to have two separate brushes. So this particular one I just used for cleanup, and as you can see there, I was just taking a little bit of acetone and wiping off that excess chrome, being really careful not to touch those splashes of chrome that we want to keep there. Then once we're happy with how everything is looking, everything's a lot neater, we're going to come back in with the no wipe rubber top coat to top coat, encapsulate and seal everything in. So as you can see, I floated on a thin layer, and then I just come in with a little bit of extra top coat and walked that down the nail. And that is how I like to encapsulate if I'm wanting to put kind of a bit of an apex to the nail, and making sure that we're getting rid of any unevenness where we've layered up our nail art. I then held that upside down for a few seconds and popped it into cure. On to our next nail design. We've already got our two coats of True Nude, and I'm going to come in again and apply a thin coat of the no wipe top coat. On this nail, again, we're not going to be applying chrome to the entire nail, but we're going to be doing an ombre effect. So I want to make sure that I've got that no wipe top coat over the entire nail, so that I can put the chrome exactly where I want it. Once it has cured, I'm going to focus on applying my mirror chrome right at the tip of the nail to begin with, burnishing that in, and then going gently up the nail. But I don't want to create a too harsh line, so I don't want this to look like a block where the chrome ends. So I'm kind of feathering it out, doing the same as before, going up and down and then in circular motions to make sure everything is applied evenly. Then we're going to dust off that excess chrome. Then we're going to finish off our ombre look. So we've obviously got a base color down, but I want to fade the True Nude over the chrome. So we're going to do this with the ombre brush. So I'm going to come in with the True Nude, and you could effectively just start blending this down over the chrome. But if you make a mistake and you need to wipe it off, then you're going to wipe the chrome off, and also it might drag the chrome a little bit. So I actually prefer to come in with the True Nude, take that halfway down the nail, and then come in with a clear layer. So here I've opted to use top coat, but you could also use a clear base coat. And then this is also going to make your ombre a lot easier to do, because you've got something to blend that nude color into. It's going to mix with your top coat, and it's going to start watering down in that transitional area, and you're going to be able to create a nice blend over the chrome and get rid of that area where the chrome just stopped. So we're going to do this in two coats just to really perfect that blend. So I'll talk you through how I do the ombre. It's very similar to how I do any ombre. So I'm going to come in, apply my True Nude to halfway down the nail, then come in and push that clear coat up to the True Nude so that there's not a gap between those two colors. Then once we've got that down, I'm going to take my ombre brush, start blending that line where the two colors meet. This is going to create a transitional shade. In this case, because we're blending with clear, it's going to just create a lighter, more watered down version of True Nude. So we're going to keep blending that, going backwards and forwards. Whenever you see my hand go out of shot, I'm just wiping off some of the excess gel polish from my brush. Then when I've created that transitional shade, I'm going to start blending this down. And this was really, really simple to do because it's a nude and a clear. So once we're happy with our ombre look, we're going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds. And of course, I want to add some splashes of neon color over the top of this. So I'm going to use those three colors that we've already got down on the palette and just come in and do some wavy swooshes across the nail. So I'm going to do a larger one to begin with using Milava. Again, using that striped liner brush, because this makes your nail art absolutely effortless. You want to kind of load up enough on your brush, but then wipe off some of the excess so that you can do a nice swoosh. And then, as I mentioned before, the Kiki London Deluxe LED lamp has a 10-second flash cure on it. So what I will do is pop the nail in, click that 10-second option. That's going to freeze your gel polish in place, so you're not going to have to worry about smudging or messing up that swoosh that you've already perfected when you're doing your second and third one. But as always, once we've done all of that flash curing, you need to make sure you put it in for a full 30-second cure. And then again, we're going to come in and top coat using the no wipe rubber top coat. Now, as I mentioned, I really love this top coat for encapsulating because it is that little bit thicker. But if you don't want a too thick nail, or if you're not needing any strengthening purposes, of course you can still use the no wipe top coat, but I would actually recommend using the crystal top coat, which is the latest no wipe top coat from Kiki London, because it has amazing clarity, but thickness wise it's a little bit thinner than the no wipe rubber top coat, so it's a great alternative. So if you haven't already tried that one, I highly recommend it. Now on this, now I'm going to start by doing a full color of Raving Doll, but as you can see, I've already got a layer of True Nude down, and that's because the neons really pop over a white base. But I didn't want to do a white base because we haven't used any white gel polish throughout the set, so I stuck with True Nude, and as you can see, it looks stunning. It really makes the neon and the brightness from Raving Doll pop. And you only need to then do one coat of Raving Doll. So I have done one coat of True Nude, cured that for 30 seconds, and then one coat of Raving Doll. And then I'm going to come over the top of this and do some chrome stamping. So before we do our chrome stamping, similar to when we're doing our isolated chrome designs, you need to have a layer of matte down. So I'm going to pop a thin coat of matte top coat down, cure this for 30 seconds, and whilst that's curing, I'm going to set up my stamping. So I've got my stamping plate, and to do chrome stamping you are going to need 2 stampers. So I'm going to take one and apply my chrome powder to this. I'm just taking a small amount and rubbing it into the silicone head on this stamper. A little bit goes a long way. We're going to do 3 little flowers on here, and that's enough chrome for those 3. So then there's our Raving Doll with our cured matte top coat. I'm going to take some regular stamping polish, apply this to my image, and then we're going to stamp this effectively as normal. So we're going to pick up our little flower, and you need to work quite quick with stamping, but when you're doing chrome stamping, you definitely need to work quick. So you want to stamp down your image, and whilst that stamping polish is still slightly tacky, you want to go straight in with your chrome powder, and the chrome is only going to stick to that tacky stamping polish. Then, like as before, we're going to dust off any excess, then come in with an angled nail art brush and just go around the edges and get rid of any little stubborn bits of chrome that's still stuck to the nail. Now these particular flowers are layered images. They do have, I believe, 3 layers, but I'm just going to do 2 because of how the design was going. So for the second layer, I'm actually just going to do this in plain white. So we're going to just stamp this image down exactly the same as before. And like I said, I did do 3 images, so I have sped the next part of the video up a little bit more so we fly through it, but I still will talk you through the steps. I absolutely love chrome stamping, and if it's not something you've tried but you love stamping, then please do give it a go because it is so fun, but it looks super effective. So again, I'm using regular black stamping polish here. I'm going to come in and stamp down my image same as before. So we apply our stamping polish, scrape off the excess, really quickly pick that image up and go straight over the top of it with our chrome powder. You don't want to be waiting around because the stamping polish dries super quickly. So what then ends up happening is there won't be enough tack to grab on to that chrome. So you want to make sure that you've got everything set up and to hand so that once you've stamped down the black stamping polish, you can come straight over the top with your chrome powder, and you're just going to gently press this on a couple of times and it will grab on to that tacky stamping polish and you'll get this really pretty effect. Same as before, we're going to come around with the second layer in that white stamping polish, keeping my angled nail art brush to hand with just a little bit of acetone on it to help clean up. And this is why you also need a layer of top coat between your stamping and your gel polish, because a lot of the time when you're doing stamping you will come in and do some cleanup, and if you haven't got a layer of top coat there, when you're rubbing at your color with acetone, you'll start breaking down the color. A lot of top coats are acetone resistant, and this is why you need to file your top coat before you come in and apply your acetone to soak off. So this way, by having that layer of matte top coat down, it's protecting our Raving Doll from the acetone when we're cleaning up. So just bear that in mind if you are doing stamping that's not necessarily chrome stamping, any kind of stamping. Personally, just sometimes you're going to make mistakes, you're going to need to clean up. It's always good to have that layer of top coat down. It's not something I always do, but I definitely find it helps when you're going in with acetone. Anyway, finishing off the last little chrome flower, I'm going to finish off cleaning up, and then once again we're going to come in and apply our no wipe rubber top coat. So here we're going to use the top coat for a couple of different reasons. Of course, we need a top coat to bring our shine back. We need to seal in our chrome stamping. And then also I want to apply some little crystals to the center of this now. So I've got some of these Kiki London, I think these are the pink sapphire crystals, but I'll double check and leave them linked in the description box below. So I've got some of them, and I'm going to apply these into our wet top coat. So we haven't popped this into cure just yet. Then I'm just going to pick the crystals up using the Kiki London dotting and gem tool, place them down in the wet top coat using the waxy end of this tool, and then using the dotting tool I'm just going to nudge them around so they're in the center of the flowers, and it just added a little something extra to really complete the funky look to this design. Then we're going to pop that in to cure for 60 seconds, and then those crystals are stuck down in place. And then this, guys, was the finished result. So I think it's a perfect look for the hot weather that we've had here in London. But do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, all of the products I've used will be linked in the description box below. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment below, and if you haven't already hit that subscription button, I would absolutely love it if you did. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.